Hey, thanks for watching. This is TG, and I'm working on a collage page in my little journal. I decided to use a real looking woman that was kind of fun, and this was her. So I have my Pentalic sketchbook here, which I fondly refer to as my little Monica. This book is great. It's for sketching, but the pages are perfect for mixed media, not too heavy. I do art in random places, so I'm just finding the perfect spot, which is here. There's some paint from the page before, but it's no biggie because it's going to get covered up anyway. Or if it shows through, totally fine. So I know I want to do collage, but then what do I want behind her? So I decided to collage some grass behind her. And one of my favorite things to do is to add paint behind it and then tear up the collage that I'm going to use. This is perfect when you have a paper that you want to glue down, but it's just not big enough or maybe not the right shape. Perfect. Put a little something else behind it, rip it up, spread it out. So there we go. Just adding a little sky here. Now I don't know if any of this will be seen, but I just want something behind it just in case. And I don't know if the colors will match at all either, but I don't really care. It's just gonna, I think it's gonna be good. So there we go, just picking up the excess paint. Now I like to have my paper more torny looking. Tim Holtz gave a good tip in one of his videos that if you tear up, you get the white line. You tear down, you don't get the white line. I didn't remember that this time until after I did it, but I do like the white line because it's also like a whole little tiny canvas there, so I could add doodles or writing or whatever. So I'm just going to tear up the papers in random strips, never neat, and just glue them down. If I overdo it, just trim it up. No big deal at all. There's so much forgiveness in this. And I wanted to add some sky, and she had her own sky in the original picture, so I'm going to just use that. And I like the tree line that was showing, and I thought it'd be cool maybe just to put it there above the grass, and it kind of ends up looking like a lake off in the distance with trees at the edge, which is kind of like a happy little accident there. So I'm just going to add a little bit more to the sky. It's getting a little busy, but I really do like it. I love this kind of thing. I love to be in this kind of thing. I love nature, grass, sky, so it's perfect. All right, let's see how she does. She does look happy since she just came from that kind of place. I think she'll like it here. And I did chop off her legs so that she could fit. Sometimes I cut the bottom half off, sometimes the top. Well, not the top because then she'd be headless. But sometimes I'll cut it straight down the middle and just have half her body on there. And that way there's plenty of room for other things too. So I've glued her down, smoothed her down. But I want a little something else up top. A little burst of color. I love sun and representing that. So I've got my bowl of papers. Here I am digging through to find the ultimate yellow piece. I haven't dug in here a while, so I'm not really sure what I have. I'm a saver of too many scraps, but these kind of scraps are my favorite because I love to punch holes out of painted paper, and then I save this part. Now, I know sometimes I try a piece out and it just doesn't work. Sometimes I try a piece and like, I know you're going to work. I know you want to be here. How do you want to be? Tell me how you want to be. So we just try it out, just flipping around and around until I get it. Now this is obviously like an abstract sort of sun, not even sun-like at all, just the color of it. For gluing this kind of thing, I dab. My glue, Avery glue stick, is nice because it gets a little soft, so you can easily do this and not tear your paper so much. But if I do tear it, I'm gluing it, so it's going to be fixed in just 2 seconds. There, I do like it. Kind of weird. No, it's not weird. I like it. It's cool. I like it how it goes that way. Like the sunshine spreading through the sky. Now, I felt like while this page is quite vivid and colorful, I wanted to make her pop out a bit. Now, a lot of people use the Stabilo pencil. I think it's called an all pencil because you can activate it with water and make it more grungy, more messy, and a stronger color. I am not sure if I'm going to want this at all. See, I didn't even get close to her head because it doesn't matter. Because as soon as you come with a wet brush, you can fill it in, kind of shove, you can move the color around, manipulate it more. So I'm filling it in. Some parts are darker than others, and I just really don't care for this. So I'm going to dab it up or wipe it. Now, the paper I glued down is glossy, so it comes off of there easy. And it does kind of the painted part a bit. But since it's still kind of dirty, I'm just going to grab a baby wipe and wipe off as much as I can. It works pretty well. Baby wipes are just great to have in your stash. You can paint with them. It really spreads paint really well. Just a little bit will go far. It softens it up and cleans up a lot too, obviously. Gel pens and that kind of thing. So there. A little bit grungy around the edges. No big deal. Just a little bit of gray. I'm going to dry it a bit more, but I do want to make her pop out a little bit more, so I grab a Sharpie to try that. But you can't just try a Sharpie because it's kind of permanent, so I'm sticking with a Sharpie. This is a little bold, and I'm actually getting a little bit nervous that maybe this was the wrong choice, but there's no turning back now. And I know that even though it might not be the right choice I'm thinking of, everything's workable. You can make anything okay. So, I think it'll be fine. I am going to dry it too in a minute, just because some of that paper, like I said, is glossy, and so the Sharpie stays wet, and I don't want to wait around. I want to get my white dots in there as soon as I can. I have a few different white gel pens. The Signal one is the one I use for bold strokes and bigger dots. So I think that if I put the white on there, not only will it soften it a bit, it'll also make it pop out a little bit more. And it kind of reminds me of like the polka. I'm not Polish at all, know nothing about that, but I thought this might be good for her. Now, gel pens do smear, so I have to be careful, and also if I write over what I just wrote on, it'll pick it up. So I usually make a circle and then fill in the dot. There, pretty good. But yet, it seems like this lady is just out here with dots around her, so I want to figure something else out, which I'll get to in a minute. Now for her words. I have a whole box full of words that I've cut out of old books. I love doing that, not knowing what they're going to be used for. And I take them and I let them fall down. And then this is what I found for her. Whatever can I do now? Well, now in the beginning of the words, I leave a little extra paper sometimes, because that's how it was in the book. And I think sometimes it's nice to have that little open space before the words, because sometimes I doodle on there, sometimes I don't know, whatever, we'll see. Now I'm debating whether I should keep it long or short, or long or short, so I just decided to do it halfway and cut off just a bit of it to have a little extra space. And that way too, I find that the words are noticed a bit more too when I keep more of the book page around it. Perfect. I thought about doing dots around the words before I put them down and putting them on black, but I think I like this quite well. Now I do want to carry up some of that dark black line up above or somewhere. So I try this, making some cloud-like thing. Just a little doodle here and there. Touching it up a little bit. I love making humps and bumps, scallops, whatever. So there. Sometimes, since you go over the bumpy paper, you just got to fill it in a little bit, and I like to dry things before I do it. Now, these two kind of look like two saggy boobs to me, so I decided to put a little center scallop in there. So it's a little bit more appropriate. It makes me a little happier. And then, yeah, touch it up a little bit. And now here we go with some more white dots. She seems adventurous to me, so I decided to add a stamp that I have, like a passport stamp. Well, the stamps they put in passports, because it seems like she's been on quite the adventures. So I'm going to do that. I don't want it to be too strong though, too bold, so I just did my first stamp on a scrap paper so that these wouldn't be as much. And then I'm just going to carry out the ghost print. I don't know if it's a ghost print or not. But there you go. Collage, mixed media, paint, And whatever do I do now? Thanks.